Hello there, Internet. Thank you so much for joining me in this back workout today. I'm not sure if I sound different to you guys, maybe a little bit echoey. If you want to know why, it's because I'm laying in my hallway and I'm just elevating my legs a little bit because I think sometimes my legs feel really tired and weak because of like circulation. So I decided to spend this video elevating my legs. So it's just a little bit echoey. I apologize if it's weird. But anyway, so I'm starting here with my ring pull-ups. As you can see, today's session is not weighted. I seem to have regressed a little bit. I've had a couple of bad pull-up sessions in a row now. And again, I wonder if it's like a water retention thing or something like that. With the poor circulation too. I don't know. But anyways, I decided instead of still plugging away at the weighted ones for now, I'm just going to work on trying to make my sets more controlled, keeping the reps tidier, like stopping before the last one gets really ugly, and doing them just a little bit slower, with like a little bit of a hold at the top sometimes, and they just overall feel better when I do them this way. So try not to get the reduced reps, keep that out of my head, and don't let it get to me, because you know what, they feel better, and what's the point of it otherwise? The point of it is not to have it feel crappy. But anyway, so did quite a few sets of that. Definitely increased my volume, it's not plural, increased my volume, just because I wasn't getting as many reps, but it was pretty great. Then I did my kind of like sitting sideways pull down. I did that for a couple of sets. Did my chest supported row, really loaded up on the weight for my chest supported row this time. And and then I did this thing. I watched a video of Sebum and Sam Sulek working out, doing this tri-set variation of a lat pull down where they grip it wide, grip it more narrow, and then do an underhand grip, like all kind of at once there without rest. And so I did 2 rounds of that. You guys, it was awesome. When you see it, if you keep watching the video and you see it, I really recommend trying this tri-set on your next back day. It's going to feel amazing. It's going to make your freaking back scream. I'm telling you. It felt really cool. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that. Maybe not every session, but definitely frequently. I think if not every session, every other one, because I loved it. So that was a win. Did some random narrow grip seated row cable, and finished off. Oh, I also threw in my rear delts. Today, I think that I want to target my rear delts more than just once a week on my shoulder day. So I'm going to also include them in my back workouts from now on. Hopefully I remember that. Y'all can call me out if the next back workout I've totally forgotten my plan to do that. And then finished off with just some biceps. So yeah, it was a little bit longer than my normal sessions, but I was just tinkering around a little bit. But it was still a good one. You know, I definitely think I worked quite hard, so that's good. So I have quite a few things. If you notice, this video is a little bit longer. I have quite a few things I'd like to ramble about today, so hopefully I remember them all. I may get cut off and have to throw it in my next video, but that's okay. So one of them, first off, I had a sex dream about Jim Carrey. That's his name. I forgot his name for a second. Jim Carrey. It's not like I'm attracted to him, so I don't know why that happened. I don't think about him. I'm not really a fan. I'm not a hater, and I'm not a fan. I liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I liked The Truman Show. I wonder if I was thinking about The Truman Show before bed. Maybe that's what it was. Anyway, I had a sex dream about him, and like I said, I'm not attracted to him, but it was comforting because he was very nice. I'm not used to I'm not used to that, so it was nice. It felt nice. Anyway, after that, the next thing I want to talk about is this thing that annoys me. If you guys have seen this content where it's like, it's set up and it's an act, but they're doing an act. It's like a fitness video, but they're doing an act to describe to you how to modify a movement. It's like, hey girl, this is an example of something I saw, and I couldn't even keep watching it. It just made me want to punch things. It's like, girl's doing leg press. Girl comes up to her, and this is not like a real thing, and they're not trying to even make it seem like it's a real thing, because nobody would believe this really happened. Anyways, because it's too perfectly filmed. But anyway. Hey girl, what muscles are you trying to target on that leg press? I'm trying to target my glutes. Can I show you a better way to target your glutes on the leg press? And then it's like, move your feet up like here and put your feet here. And it's like, just show. Why do you have to make it a scene? Why does it have to be like this act? where there's these characters having this conversation. Why can't you just be like on the leg press and say like, hey, if you want to target your leg press, put your legs here. If you want to target your this on the leg press, put your feet here and do it like this. Why does it have to be a show? Anyways, it was just like so freaking annoying. And it was like 2 parts. So I watched 10 seconds of one of them and I thought, oh, this is really annoying. I hate how they're talking. I'm sorry, maybe this makes me sound bitter. Anyway, I hate how they're talking. I never want to see this again. And then I saw a different one in my feed that was like the second part of it. I was just, oh, I can't listen to this act. Oh yeah, this is that tricep thing. Tricep. So anyway, so I just want to complain about that for a second. So thanks for letting me get that out of my system. The next thing that I'd like to talk about, and this is going to be the big bulk of it, that I may get cut off. And like, I don't even necessarily know where to start. I knew this guy, not like in real life, just online, because that's where I know everybody. That's where I know all the guys. Not in real life, unfortunately. But he was just crazy in the literal sense, I do believe. It's not, you know how you call people crazy and they're not really crazy? This guy seemed batshit. But anyways, he was having troubles getting to the low body fat that he wanted to. I mean, he was already pretty low body fat, but whatever. He had this idea in his mind. He wanted to be lower body fat. And I mean, this guy was on everything. Like, whatever Ozempic type stuff he was on, whatever other things he was blasting, he was on everything and took everything. And he was just very, very extreme and intense about it all. And he wasn't able to lose the last bit of fat. And so his plan was to start getting up at 3 a.m. to add in cardio. He was also eating fewer calories than me, and he was already only getting maybe like 4 hours of sleep. He was barely sleeping, his really low calories, and pushes himself to extreme levels in the gym and blasting a ton of drugs. Just setting up the scene for you guys. And so because he wanted to lose more fat, the last little thing that he decided to do was get up even earlier to throw in extra cardio, because that's what needed. And he would call me out saying that I don't train to failure. And he's like, I've seen your videos. You don't train to failure. And you need to work harder. You need to work harder. And for one, I think, if you're not achieving your own goals, why do you think that you're in a position to tell somebody else what they should be doing if you yourself aren't accomplishing what you want to be doing? But anyways, beside the point. But it's like, do you really think that you should take advice from a person like that who clearly the main key component of what they're missing is sleep and cortisol reduction? Because, and they say, I know you're not training to failure. When I'm training to failure, when I do my sets, and it'd be every set they did, every single set of every exercise they did, they would train to absolute failure. So just add even more cortisol to the mix. You're allowed to have some movements that you are known movements that are just good for you, that are still not failure movements. You're allowed to do that. But anyway, he's like, when I'm training to failure, everything is shaking, I'm screaming, blah, blah, blah. And I can tell that you're not doing that. And whatever, calls me out and says I need to do this, I need to do this. And I just thought, like, I don't want to be somebody that has such elevated cortisol that I feel, and he was angry all the time. That is his nickname. I'm not going to say his full name, but I am going to say his first name was the word angry in terms of the nickname. But anyway, I can guarantee that there's going to be at least one person that watches this video that knows exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, that was his nickname. I don't want to be somebody that has such chronically elevated cortisol that I'm angry at everybody all the time and am still not achieving my goals on top of all of the things that I am doing, because I'm intentionally completely screwing with my central nervous system and I'm not able to properly function as a human being. Like, there's passion and there's extremes, and then there's some just like weird ass shit, whatever this was, because this was beyond anything and not anything, not a goal that I have. It's like, I obviously, in my mind, I like pushing myself. I like achieving things. I like seeing things that I didn't see before. I like having muscle development. I like the muscle development that I have. I'm fairly content with it. I would like to keep it. And I like that. I like seeing that. Or if new things pop up, it's like, whoa, my legs have grown more this past year or whatever than they have before. I like seeing that. But I also like maintaining my sanity. And so it's like, it seems that it's like a very, very common topic in this day and age. Failure training is like the most talked about thing that I see, in my feed, I mean, your guys's might be different, from all different influencers, constantly showing you what failure is, what it looks like, constantly showing you that they are doing it, and like that this is the way 100% of the time, whatever, this is the way for everything, or everything is pointless and you're not going to achieve your goals unless unless you're doing this. And it's like, I recognize the importance of pushing yourself, pushing your muscles to things that they're not used to, so that they adapt and so that they grow. I understand the point of that thing, that those things. I certainly do. But I also like have to, I don't know, encourage people out there, especially if you're kind of like new and confused by all the information or whatever, or if you are feeling like really, really taxed out, like recognizing there has to be like a balance somewhere, like a happy balance. Because for one, a lot of influencers like are literally doing this as their job. You also have to recognize that you yourself have to exist. I have to be able to exist outside my workouts. That's very, very important to me, believe it or not. And as I was talking about my previous leg workouts, is I felt like I wasn't doing that very well. And so it's like thinking, I already know it's like on my leg days, people have called me out that I'm not pushing to failure or whatever. And I think, but it's already hard enough for me to exist after I'm doing this. And that if I am achieving to some degree what I want, then why would I be willing to sacrifice more, like to make my day harder, to make myself more uncomfortable outside of the workout? I like being uncomfortable during my workout. I don't like being uncomfortable outside of the workout. But as I was saying, take some of the things that influencers say about failure like with a grain of salt, because if this is like literally their job, they probably have less to do than we do. Like I have to be able to do my job. I have to be able to do my errands. I would like to be able to move, and also take into account your own mental health and like your tolerance of things, because I'm a very, very anxious person. And so it's harder for me to bounce back from extreme sessions and extreme sets because of that anxiety. It takes me longer in that regard to get back to base level. And that's also something that's like I'm mindful of, because I'm like, oh, I'm very, very irritable because my workout, elevated my cortisol, and it's taking longer than normal to go back down. So if it's like normally I could understand right after my workout I'm irritable or whatever and things are elevated, but I expect it to go back to normal in a certain period of time that's a reasonable time frame, and it's not, and it's taking longer, then I think, well, how much was that, how much was those last 3 reps worth it? If it's like it's just those certain things, how it's going to impact the rest of my day, that's just something I'm mindful of, especially at the age that I'm at now. Maybe when I was younger I didn't care, go all out, I don't care if I feel like shit back in the day, because it was just end all be all. Now it's like, actually I'd like to feel happy today. I'd like to not feel like I have an elephant sitting on my chest. It's my own anxiety and my own tolerance, and knowing that. And things like intensity interval training is great for burning calories, all this kind of stuff. I can't handle it anxiety wise, so doing intense intervals gives me panic attacks. It's not just, oh, it's the excuse you're being lazy. It is uncomfortable for everybody. So it literally gives me panic attacks to do high interval training. So I try to keep my intervals like at a better pace, a more comfortable pace, and just make them longer. Like I try to be mindful of stuff like that, because it's just things that I've learned over the course of my life, how I react to certain things. When you're somebody that's very, very anxious, you do have to take into account the effect that exercise has on you and your mental health. And it's like, because exercise is a great way to reduce anxiety, and so you take it full circle, you do it to extremes, to the point where it's giving you a panic attack, then you really have to question, are these intense, crazy things worth it? And what can I do so that I have balance, so that I'm still feel like I'm accomplishing something. I still am liking what I see in the mirror. I still am achieving something, and I'm pushing myself, but I'm not pushing myself to the point where I'm hyperventilating for the whole rest of the day. You understand? I hope I'm getting my point across. If you love that kind of training and you don't care, and it doesn't negatively impact you that way, then please continue to do so. I don't like giving advice like that, like I know better. I certainly don't. This is just from my own experience. I also want to say that I think sometimes influencers like overplay and act out things, making it seem like crazier than it actually is. That's just an assumption, because things are fake online. We all know that. Anyways, thanks for listening today, guys. Bye.